Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that's alternative housing options, exploring non-traditional living spaces. The idea of home has always meant a house with walls, a roof, and maybe a backyard or an apartment in a gated community. For decades, city planning and real estate focused on the standard living arrangements. In recent years, the concept of home and the idea of what it means to be housed has changed due to various societal issues, including the unaffordability of housing, the lack of housing in sustainable forms, the growing population, and changes in lifestyle. In various places on the planet, flexible, low-impact, and community housing alternatives to mainstream housing are arriving fast and trying to solve the housing problem. Alternative housing to the mainstream markets isn't a silly idea anymore. Smart and practical alternatives are here. Tiny homes, co-housing, houseboats, modular construction, converted industrial spaces, and communal eco-villages have moved beyond concepts and are actually changing urban and rural spaces. These changes are most likely due to a shift in thinking about housing. People no longer see housing as a financial investment, but rather as a lifestyle choice that promotes the values of sustainability, affordability, and mobility. Tiny homes and the minimalist movement. Tiny homes are becoming popular all over the world. These homes range in size from 100 to 400 square feet. It focuses more on the design than the size, affordability, and environmental impact. These homes are not just for the minimalists. These homes are a good option for people that are minimalists to start with. Almost everyone loves tiny homes for the financial freedom they give. With the rise in home prices, tiny homes are a good option as they can be built or bought for much cheaper than a traditional home. Lower mortgage or rental costs free individuals from decades of financial strain, enabling them to redirect income toward travel, education, or personal pursuits. The rental prices and student debt make them even more popular with the younger generations. Co-housing and shared communities. Co-housing, or collaborative housing, is where people redefine housing as shelter and also a platform for community living. While people have individual homes and gardens in suburbia, they also have to ignore or avoid their neighbors, as is the case with the traditional hybrid model. Co-housing families choose to live near and with each other per the community's collaborative, collective, and participatory model. In every co-housing community, there are individual private living units, be they housing, apartments, or simply rooms. As in a COPE model, explained differently, there are also collective communal kitchens, gardens, and integrated recreation and workspace areas. There is individual privacy and the possibility of collective resource utilization and social integration. For example, there is communal childcare. People work reactive and integrated systems and social meal organization. Houseboats and floating homes if you enjoy the freedom of water and living outside the norms. Houseboats and floating homes can be great alternatives to typical homes. Houseboats were primarily used for leisure purposes, but they are increasingly becoming permanent homes in places where property prices are skyrocketing and land is becoming scarce. Floating homes primarily serve to relieve the situation of densely populated urban areas. Magical floating home communities exist in places like Amsterdam and Seattle where people live in homes docked in the water. These homes are floating communities and can either be carved luxuriously or simply. However, the floating lifestyle is the best relief from the regular urban lifestyle. Modular and prefabricated homes. Modular and prefabricated housing is changing how we design, build, and live in houses. Instead of taking several months and a lot of effort on site, houses in the factory. Modular housing can be put together in sections and assembled on site. With the global housing shortage, the speedy integration of prefabricated techniques in the construction will lowering the cost and waste, be cost efficient, and increasing profit margins makes these techniques even more attractive. Affordability is the most attractive. Factory construction prefabricated housing is simultaneously efficient and economical, lowering building costs in comparison to traditional construction. These houses can now be part of the middle and lower class working families. Also, building from a single prefab piece to a multi-storied apartment is easily in the range of these models. Converted and adaptive reuse spaces. Adaptations over time shape our urban environment, including buildings. One of the most fascinating alternative housing approaches is the adaptive reuse of non-residential buildings. The renovation of warehouses, factories, schools, shipping containers, and even churches into lively and colorful homes is remarkable. There is something practical and aesthetic about adaptive reuse. Instead of demolishing and losing an old building, it can be turned into housing. It also minimizes construction waste and improves the urban area. For example, old factories turned loft apartments lack old exposed building materials and massive windows, and are one of the most sought-after apartments. Eco-villages and sustainable communities. Community members work together to foster resilience, integrate renewable energy, practice organic farming, and use sustainable building methods. Most residents live in simple houses, which in some cases are built by themselves with natural and recycled materials. Eco-villages tend to be run on the principles of cooperation and local exchange in an economic model. Besides individual houses, the community promotes collective infrastructures like renewable energy grids, water recycling systems, and community orchards and gardens, which all these collective infrastructures decreases the ecological impact and promotes self-dependence. Citizens can share equipment, vehicles, and resources and save money and become united. Eco-villages in certain instances establish small business ventures like organic farms, handicrafts, or ecotourism to support their communities. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.